Yeah.
Okay, let me talk, there are a couple of issues here I need to
Sure.
cope with. First of all, this is the subject property, and I've got the same adjoiner text on it. And I want to make it a little bit bolder and not make it italics.
Okay.
So I thought there was a way that you could do that by
Yep.
clicking on the.
Yeah, look in the properties. Well, you can do it there too if you want, but
Oh, okay, let me do it this way then. Okay,
so you see down there where it says style.
yeah,
If you pull that down and it will let you choose from a predefined style that might have the characteristics you want. And I don't know, maybe like Legend, I think had one, or Notes or something. I don't remember what they
I
were.
think it was Notes maybe.
Okay, well, that didn't seem to work very well.
Disappeared entirely.
Yeah, go back, just press escape and do the undo on that. Now.
Want to try it the other way from here?
Yeah, that's fine. First of all, select all the text. There you go. Now change the font to probably Arial would be.
Yeah, I like Arial.
Well, that's going to match the rest of your plat fairly well. There it is. And right now you see where it's the italic button is not on, I don't think.
No, it isn't.
And it's not even available. But what you do have set is what's called an obliquing angle. And that is, I don't know if it's this one. What is that?
Well, actually, I don't. It doesn't. It looks pretty
Oh,
good.
no, it's over here. It's this
Okay.
12, it's 12 degrees oblique.
Okay.
You set that to 0.
Okay.
And do you want it centered? Or
No, that's probably okay because it's going to if it's centered, it's going to look funny, I think.
well, we can try it and see. Right now it's left justified, so centered would look like that. Yeah, it's a little bit. This line, the second line is so long.
Yeah. Okay, so that's okay. Now I need to do the same thing with this one. Well, that turned out to be simple.
Well, wait a minute, before you do all that, let me show you an even simpler one. Click, just escape and get out of that whole thing. Just escape everything. Just, are you pressing the escape key?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
Okay,
now
now I'm not.
We're going to do what's called match properties.
Okay,
And it's this little whisk broom right up here under the settings menu.
right.
So pick the one that you want to copy from that one and then hit the other one. There you go. Well, that didn't work, did it? All right, let's undo that. Let's see here. All right, I'll let you go back and do it this other way then. I don't know why it's not. It's not responding to that the way it should. And then take that 12 degrees there and just make it, yeah, okay.
Okay, now then, what I've got, this is kind of busy in here. What I've got are two parcels here. This is one parcel, which is 0.156 acres, and this is the other parcel, which is 3.801. But I'm creating a 50-foot access easement to get to their property in the back.
Uh-huh.
And so I've got to dimension this piece of property here, but I've also got to dimension the
easement.
the easement.
Yeah. Well, here's the biggest issue you've got with this right now, Mike, is what's going on right there? Well, the biggest issue that I see what's going on right now is the scaling is such that, yeah, you see that right there?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you need to show?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
So I'll cover that up. So remember, that was what was in model space. This stuff's in paper space. So right now, see things like this. Let's go inside. This is in the model. And I look down here at, all right, it's not annotative. That's okay. But it has a height of almost 15, which means it's like a Leroy 150. This is 100 scale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, that could really, you know, you could get by with this and this and this all being, let's just say 10. And then this and this. What size of those? See, that's also 10. I would think I would maybe want to make those say 8. That'd be like a Leroy 80. Unless there's, you know, if there's any rules.
No.
Okay. So let's change the same thing there. We'll make that to 8. And we will bring that down there. And let's do this. Let's see, let's do this one too. 8. This. Now that's M text. Oh no, there it is. Okay. Yeah, this is really your best approach, because the scale of this property, at doing it at 100 scale, it makes the property so small that the annotation gets lost. I mean, the annotation doesn't get lost. The annotation makes everything else get lost. That's what I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's also 8. All right, and then I would come back out here in paper space now. And see that these are 1/10 of an inch.
There's another one there that you haven't highlighted.
Oh yeah, okay. So these are all 1/10 of an inch. And if we were making that 0.08, And that one we left at 1/10. That one's at 1/8 of an inch. Is that, are these two of equal importance, or is one more than the other?
No, they're of equal importance.
All right, so let's make that one then. Yeah. And no, it's already pretty small. Okay, so that we've got some dimensions here. That was a 50. Text height, okay, that's already right size, okay. And then we'll bring this guy back. Same thing here with this one. And let's see what else. Okay, that. And I'll let you fine tune where you're going to place them, but that's going to give you the best placement of as such. Now, there's a couple of other things going on here too. Those overhead power lines and poles compete with your property line, you know, with line weight and color. What if we made them skinnier and grayer? Would that be all right?
Sure.
All right, so let's see what layer they're on first. And that's EUOH wires. All right, it is, everything's by layer. Okay, so if we, now we are still within this viewport. So I'm going to go here to my what was EU, that's existing utilities. So now I could change it here, or I could leave it alone for model space, and I'll just try out some things here in the paper space that I'm in. And let's change that to be a lighter color, say maybe that one, and a line weight. Cut it way down. Let's see what that does for us. And we do a regen all. All right, so that'll keep that from competing quite so much. And of course, well, we don't have that in our legend, the power pole.
No.
Or the overhead line. So we'd have to put both those in there. All right, that's no problem either. All right. Now, a lot of this too, you might, we might need to do some leader work. Where it gets small, like, are you going to have to label these two little things in here, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that one there, yeah, I'm gonna have to label that. And I'm gonna have to put a dimension on that,
Yeah, see, there's a bend right there.
yeah,
And that's based on there being a corner here. Is that correct?
yeah.
All right, now this line here, though, doesn't show that.
Doesn't have a bend in that line.
Okay, so we're 50 feet off this total,
Yeah,
and that edge has got a bend in it. That's fine. This one does not. Oh, I get it. I see. Okay. All right. So I think what I would do now, where is this this is like that corner and this corner. That's
say that again.
this Deborah Butcher.
Yeah,
That's just for this entire end piece of adjoining property, right?
correct.
All right, so I'm going to pull that out of there just a little bit. We may reposition it in a minute. Now, I think what I'd also like to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to associate that with this 50 footer, with this 50-foot dimension.
Okay,
And see, I've also got to get well, let's see. Oh, I see. Yeah. All right. And then let's take a look at what this angle is. And see, it's aligned. Well, the text says east. Let's see. Look at that. All right. Let's see. Probably easiest thing to do is just have to draw a little temporary line. And I'm going to go from there to there. Wow, what did happen? Edit, undo. I'll just put it over here. Now here's the trick. If you want to make something line up to be parallel to something else, you have a little piece of geometry like that, we select it and we come over here in the properties and we want to find the rotation. And of course, it's not going to show us. All right, great. Maybe it has to be a line. So if I explode it, it is now a line. There it is. Well, all right, well, I had to explode it. It has to be a line. Because apparently the IntelliCAD version doesn't report that. You could do it with the inquiry up here, but this is why it's easier. If you simply come down here and come on, really? All right, let's see if it lets me copy it. All right, so I've copied that value, I hope. I'm going to come here. And for this rotation now, I'm going to paste. Yep. So that now is exactly parallel to that. So I'm just going to do that right there. And now I no longer need this. And then I would not wanting to edit that text. There we go. I think that needs to. I would think, let's try this. Let's see. Yeah. Well, there we go. And now we'll take that angle. I'm just going to have to click down here. See that little blue outline around this? Not the solid blue, but the little blue frame. That means that's selected, I guess. So I'll copy that with a Control C, or you could right click the mouse, choose copy. I'm going to take this and change its rotation with a Control V. And not only that, but I'm going to go to text. If I can find it. And I could split it into two lines, but you know what would be actually preferable to that is to turn that into M text, I think. So let's do that. Press return for settings or one text entity removed. Oh, man. All right. I really don't get it. Yep. Yeah, that gives us a little more visible space. If we need that. Now this is good here. You're going to need another one here. Of course, that's going to be part of an arc. You know what you might do, Mike, is just create that with a table, like, you know, C1, L1, L2, L3. You already got this one.
Okay. It's been a long time since I've done that. You'll have to show me how to do it again.
All right, let me do this for a second. And I'm going to borrow one of these. Now, what about this business up here?
What about it?
Is that for this sliver of property here?
Yes. Yes.
All right, so we're going to probably need, do we need to leader that in, do you think?
Probably.
All right. I'm gonna put him out here just for a bit, and I'm going to pull this guy, give it some more. Room this way. No, that didn't work so well. Lost my arrowhead, like I did down here too.
It's there, it's just under the line, I think.
No. No, because right there's the tip end of it, see? Oh, I guess it just needs to be regened. No,
I think it's just, it's not touching the line, it's under the line, I think.
all right, let me. Yeah, see, that's somehow or another got size all messed up. Let's see if we can match. No. Something about stretching this out like this. I'll have to do the same thing there, I'm sure. Put that there. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to use this to point to this in here. I don't want to crisscross a whole bunch of stuff. So this then now stretching that out, and then just all I did was stretch it out and then push it back. That should not, that doesn't make any sense. That shouldn't be something that we have to do.
Did something happen to the line?
So what was that, Mike? You said something happened to what?
Did something happen to the line weights? The boundary line weights look weird. Oh, what did you do that with?
This right down here, this icon. Toggle
Okay.
line weight. I just turned it off so it was a little cleaner while I was working with it.
Oh, okay.
All right, so now uh all right. So that's yeah, see what I'm trying to do is these prominent dimensions. Oh, wait. Excuse me. No, this one makes more sense to be the way you had it, I think, because that's really the other person's property, right? Yeah, I think I like that because this big arc dimension concludes his property from this corner to this corner. And then this guy's property is that little piece, this, I mean, that call, this call to here, that call, and then that call. So he's completely defined. He's completely defined. And these outside pieces will serve to also sorry, Mike, I can't multitask today for whatever reason. All right, so this call here and this call here both also serve to identify the easement. At least from the midpoints over. Now, this being 814650, all right, so that is just the extension. So that is a single call on the easement there. Well, it's really going to crowd. I'm wondering if we need to do a blow up of it, Mike.
Well, probably either that or a line table.
Yeah, of course. Do we need to put any kind of a symbol?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't think I actually created a point there.
That's okay. So what do those mean? That's a found pipe, found set. All right, so you're not going to have any of that. Trying to think, is there a symbol that we could use? And we put in their legend to say just,
It's unmarked.
yes. We got the little squares. They're open squares, diamonds, really. And you don't want something like that to make it huge and gaudy.
How about a triangle?
Maybe.
I normally save those for control points, but I don't really
Yeah,
show
that-
control.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too. Let me just take a,
How about that thing, SPT 34?
all right, so we can try that one. Or,
Well,
the
actually, the SPT 32 might be better.
yeah, let me see what we're doing. So you don't, I mean, certainly, something like this would work, but that puts way too much emphasis on a very minor point.
Right.
So I think, I've seen those sometimes done like a chaining rod or I'm just like a chaining pin. They'll have a little symbol that looks like that, which is not really correct, but I've seen people do that to mean it's just a pinned point. It's not a documented. And I've seen them done like little flags too. Like if you go out and survey where somebody's flagged up a wetland, you'll see
Yeah.
sometimes. Hey, maybe that. 248. Just a second. Yeah, if we did that, whoops. Rotate by center line. Ah. Well, we want it like that, or like, or maybe just an X.
Yeah, an X or a cross or something might be better than that.
Yeah, you know,
That thing looks kind of funky.
yeah, it does. Plus, that point falls probably like right in the gap. So we need something that has the body of the symbol is sort of pointish. Right. Let's put this on this layer. The rotation. Do we have anything else? Map symbols. Oh, come on. All right. Boy, this, I think my mouse is getting like real trigger happy. I'm gonna have to probably get a new mouse here. Let me see. All right. Now these symbols actually have the little lettering in them already as well, like iron pin set, benchmark, iron pin, existing iron pin. I guess that's what that's for. So that's not really enough. That's not anything that we need. So if I go to NCS, that was control. Prop. I think that's property. Let's see what else we've got. There's utility, traffic, topo, survey, water, wall. All right, let's look first under survey. I think that's where we just were, isn't it?
I think so.
All right, so then nothing there. And it's got some of the same things, but not as many as even surveyed us. So I don't think anything there is going to help us. All right.
Yeah, maybe we should just put a cross and be done with it. Or
Yeah, I think maybe we'll do that. What was that 32, was it, that we saw before? That was crossing a circle. See what that does for us. Is it? It's pretty well gonna. That'll sort of define it, I think. Let's see. Just make sure we put it in the legend.
yeah.
All right. Now, as for the line table, and what I think we need to do
Don't you think you need that symbol at the ends of that line too?
Well, yeah. Problem I have with that though, Mike, is that this call could be interpreted to go to that.
Yeah, right, okay.
Now we could put crow's feet on them, the leaders. If the clerk of the court would just let us call that a 50-foot easement. Then none of that becomes necessary because everybody knows it's 50 feet exactly opposite that end line.
Right.
Oh, well. Is this, let's see. Oh, that's your setback up there, okay. All right, so if we, yeah, and we can't get away with simply dimension, distances. We've got to put bearings on those things. So that's why I want to do the table. So to do that,
Well, one's going to be an arc.
right, this up here little piece will be an arc. All right, so what we'll do, so that'll be like a C1, an L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6. And I want to use a table all the way around it so that we can collect all of those calls over here off to the side with us. So let's first of all save this. I'm going to go over to model space. I'm going to work in here for a minute. And I'm going to make a new parcel so I can have it automatically annotated. And tell it to use those tables. Now this was on layer boundary calc. So that's the one I want to be on. So I'm going to make that my current layer. So that's make object layer current, this icon right up here, right there. And boom, there's that. Now I'm going to basically trace this with a polyline. There's a couple of tools. I can draw a polyline and have it follow, right? Or if we were going to do this like a hatch, and we still may want to show a shaded hatch, I don't know. We'll take a look at that at the final touch-ups, but there's a command that is sort of like that, and it's called B-poly or boundary polyline right here, which, a lot of people when they're first learning Carlson, they get that confused with shrink wrap entities because the word boundary polyline suggests that you're drawing a boundary around something, but you're not. You're drawing a boundary within something. And this is it's a standard CAD tool. It has nothing to do with Carlson. So it's going to work like CAD did, or I'm sorry, like the hatch command would. And we could choose these boundary edges and it would assemble all of that from there, I think. The problem is, I think this thing is this red? Yeah, see, it turns and goes around the corner. So that may, yeah. All right, we're gonna have to just draw. So let's draw a 2D polyline. No elevation, no offset. Use current, say okay. And I'm going to say follow, F to follow. The polyline to follow will be this one. And the first follow point will be right there. And
Okay, you don't want the elevations, right?
correct. So now I'm going to go to there. And it doesn't treat it as an arc.
No, yeah, I think you have to tell it it's an arc.
No, it's an arc. Okay, good. I mean, it's a polyline, but it has an arc segment. See, if let me just move that up here. And if I say my curve information. So it has a radius of 348,000. No, I'm sorry, that's a coordinate. A radius of 3057.013. And that should be, there's your 3057. Close. Well, let's see what this one tells us. 3057.013. Yeah, that's exactly the same thing. So 0.01. 3057.01 is what that really is. Geometrically, I mean, it may not. Now, if I choose that one, the red one, it's also that same thing. So you might, you know, it's either like these numbers here that you, make sure we gotta do that.
Oh, that equal sign's in the wrong place.
Oh, yes, it is. There we go. So where did these numbers come from? Did you?
And annotate, and I click the arc.
Well, something has tweaked that arc. If you watch this, if I annotate arc, and if I take, first of all, the green one, see that 57.013 and 543.54. Now that went all the way out to there. This point right here too, that gives me a bit of a pause.
It's just a point on the curve.
But yet we're labeling this. To me, that implies that distance between those 2 points.
Well,
Not-
we can take 304 out.
Well, is 304 was documented, right?
Well, the old survey didn't show a curve there. The old survey showed two lines, but it's nevertheless it's on a curve.
Right, but I mean, this 304, I said it's documented. I meant to say it's monumented, right? You put that in the field,
I have not yet, no.
but the plan is to do that.
Yeah.
So I wonder. I wonder, Mike, if we might want to consider using crow's feet on these corners to eliminate that. I mean, we could either label that curve on the left and the curve on the right, but that you don't want that in your deed description because it's not really too,
Maybe I should just take 304 out altogether.
well, that would clear that up a little bit, I think. Yeah, I mean, I'll let you think on that. There's a layer, oh, all right. Yeah.
What is that?
That's the symbol.
Yeah, but why isn't it attached to the number?
Yeah, wait. There we go. So. There we go. All right, so that'll fix it. Now, if we look at
There, that's where it comes from. There's a slight difference between the green line and the red line.
yeah. So that green line boy, it's not that you'd know it. All right, 74, 101, 58, 59. '71, 101, 58, 59. So that's exactly the same coordinate right there, at least to 3 decimal places. All right, and then the next one is 30, 945, 29, 173. Wow, it's exactly the same coordinate. Now, if I take that And I put that exactly on, let me put it here for a minute first. And then I'm going to put it on the midpoint right there. And now let's annotate arc. Okay. So there's now the green one. Okay, I'm happy with that. So if I look at that, that one goes to there, the other one goes to there. So excuse me, I don't even need the red ones on there. There we go. That's what I was looking for. All right. So if I take the green and the easement there. Okay. Now we are sitting on boundary calc and we are making the easement. I'm going to make that easement a cyan color, I think. And we're going to draw a 2D polyline on boundary calc. Set corner here, set color, I'm sorry. And we're going to say follow. And we're going to follow this guy. And the first point we're going to follow from is here. And the last point is there. I can't tell which way it's going. Yeah, it's good. Okay. And that's a straight line to there, right?
Yeah.
So just snap, snap, snap. Snap, 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 and close. Is that right? That's our easement. Now, these two lines or these two segments over here are going to be, contiguous or parallel. They're the same line, but I suspect you're going to have to write a description out of each source property, right?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, we want those as two separate calls. Now, while we are while we have that, and remember over on our drawing sheet, on our paper space, we've got that boundary calc layer frozen, so we don't see all this stuff. But I wanted that there so we can grab it, and it's a single closed figure. So we're going to annotate that using auto annotate. And we'll figure out where to put the table here in a minute. So we'll auto annotate and let me see if they've got one where I see there's a point. Curve table. Select line or polyline. So all right, so that's going to be what it will look like. All right, but that's letting us do it one little segment at a time. So what we're going to do is do an auto annotate to do it all at once. And I'm going to store these annotation defaults. I'm just going to call them NO defaults because I'm going to change some of this stuff. So my text size, I'm going to make 0.06. That won't matter there. I don't need M text. That part's okay. There's the layer. We're going to call this let's call it anno-line table. What style do we have? There's L100 notes. Let's just keep it simplex. All right. Distance. Arcs. So parallels. All right, so there's my general settings. We're going to call these line table. NO. Fonts. All right. And now for this, for lines, we will where am I? Use line tables always. Okay. Arcs. Use curve table always. All right. Now let's see if we can do this. We will select our figure here. Starting point, and we're going to come over here and place this. And now for the line table. All right, so that's going to look like so. And there's C1. There's L1. So what we need to do is bring all of these guys to the inside. L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6. Boy, it's getting to be a mess. L7. Tall is that? Oh man. It didn't.
Didn't what?
It kept them at 0.08 and I told it 0.06 or so, I thought. I thought they looked rather big. All right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now my height is 6. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, now and if we take this, that there, and just copy this from here to here, say, and we will unlock it. And then lock it. Now we can position that. Oh, come on. Actually, what do we have over here? Let's not complicate. Oh crap, what's this? Do you
Oh, it's this, it's the one up here repeated for some reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Really? Come on. Now, we're going to take those two solids and we're going to put them in the back, and we're going to make them very pale color. Ah. Now we no longer need this. We just simply need to open this up a little more. Ah. And come on. Solid. Ah, it's on boundary calc. It should be on table text. See, none of that. None of those defaults stuck, but oh well. Let's take.
Oh, that radius is funky again.
All right, hang on. Table text. $3057.01. All right. Oh Lordy goodness. Well, I wonder what it is. Let's see here. Units. Curve info, and we'll take the red one first. Uh, 013. Red one. Yeah, it's exactly the same number. You know what it is, Mike, is we did. I'll show you something. If I copy. So you got her twice. And if I annotate arc, stack label arc. See that? Yet, if I annotate arc, which is label arc, well, the stacked label position doesn't work. Or it's got an error in it or something. Annotate stack label arc. Oh, wait a minute. Stack label arc. Let's look at options. That was a radius, R, row 2. It's first, radial out, none, degree. We're on a roadway curve definition. No, didn't make any sense.
Well, it's probably not worth spending a lot of time trying to figure out. A hundredth isn't gonna make any difference, really.
All right, well, 542.80 is a chord. 543.54 is the arc length. What is, we have a length down here, 543.55, 54, 10, 11, 14. 10, 11, 14, 12, 33, 12, 33. So that part's all fine. All right, I will, yeah, don't tweak the geometry, just take whatever. And that's a bug that needs to be taken up with Carlson. All right, so back to this, we'll change that, but Mike, verify these other numbers before you publish.
Okay.
You know, based on your calculations, just so you know. All right, so now what I want to do is Um, give this a little title. Where's text? We'll call that access easement. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so we can. Do that. Yeah. Now, do we want to do this? Dun, 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 dun. Oh. All right, it's 254, right? And then, let's see. Of course, it looks darker than it will in a PDF. But do we need to do that? Does that clarify or does that?
I think it does.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think so. I'm a big fan of using shading. And there's agencies here in Pittsburgh that are just hard-headed, like Alka saying, you know, they won't let you use any color. It's all got to be done with black lines only, no shading, no nothing. And you know, they don't care. It's because somebody made a rule 35 years ago, back when somebody bought a microfilm machine. And it's been that way ever since. Now, if we take a peek at this, where's my plot? So that's going to look like so. And we can make it a little lighter, I think. But whether or not the IntelliCAD print driver will pick it up, I'm not sure. Right here, I think, yep, see, it's going to say transparency and print style are enabled at the same time, and this combination is not currently supported, and that doesn't make any sense. Okay. That should be just like the last one. Well,
Good.
there we go. All right. What could I do with that?
With what?
I was trying to cut the shading down even, not quite so heavy, but I think we'll just let it go. Take one quick peek. I can half tone it. It was a 254. Yeah.
That looks fine to me.
Okay, let's call her good on that. Okey-doke. So that's got that. I think we'll Just a skosh, okay. Now, while here,
What are you doing?
well, I want to make this a leader for this guy. Okay. I think we've clarified that about as much as they're going to let us.
And it's almost time for me to start getting ready for my cardio rehab,
All righty.
cardiac rehab.
Yeah. Oh, cardio sounds a lot more athletic, Mike. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple things left. You've got to label your setbacks, I guess, maybe.
Yep, I do. Thanks for pointing that out.
All right. And let's see, verify that looks good. Decide whether this X needs to show or not.
It does not.
All right. And it is a point. I will just put it on, whoops. I think we've got a points freeze layer.
Yeah, somewhere.
Or was that in another drawing?
Well, it should be in this drawing too. There are points there that are frozen. For sure.
Well, they could be on a layer like utilities or whatever, and utility is frozen. So what is that point?
It was a rebar or something that I shot up further up the road.
Okay.
Don't need it, didn't use it for anything. Turned out was not useful.
Okay, so but still it's an observation. So I'm going to call this one PNTS freeze. And it will be globally frozen. I will say that. So now, all right, so label your setbacks. The legend we need to do, which we could just, I think the only thing we need to add to that is that one point and the power poles and the overhead power lines.
Right.
This adjoiner departing line, we're showing as solid, and over here, we're showing it as a property line. So we need to get those consistent.
Yeah, it should be solid.
You say it should be?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a line type of bilayer. So a joiner. So I think all we need to do there now then is to go to a joiner, and instead of that phantom, we're going to make it continuous. And as long as things on that layer are drawn with a bilayer line type, I'll do a regen. And apparently that is on layer adjoiner. Its line type is bilayer. Oh, I also have to set it for that viewport because it already existed and it copied over from that. So adjoiner continuous here, but over here it's still phantom. So we'll make that continuous. Now, there we go. But it will be gray as we show. This new property line, existing boundary, new property line, that's not.
We don't have any new property lines there.
Oh, okay. So we would take that out. We might just call that property boundary instead of, well, existing. This is not, it's not a subdivision, right? These are two currently existing parcels.
Right.
And you're just providing an easement and plus whatever else you're doing.
Yeah, just providing an easement
Okay.
to the property in the back, which is owned by the same people.
Okay, I see. Okay, well, so not a lot left. We've got the mapping coordinate grid tick, the septic area, see that. So we just need to make this consistent. These tables, I don't think are going to apply.
Well, the tables I need to leave there because the planning commission is going to review it and they want to see it with an NA.
Ah, gotcha.
The area tabulation I don't need.
Yeah. And I think we've got your access easement handled without making it too freaking muddy.
Right.
Okay, so, all right, well, let me let you get to your work, and let's see, is your seal in there?
How do I revise the legend?
Well, right now it is, where is it? I think it's just stuff that we've copied over here. Yeah, these are just things. These are just drawn things, and I copied them over. Now to get this, the way we created that, and you won't see it in this drawing, but whatever the first drawing that we did, we generated automatically. I wish I could remember the name of that one that was done, but here's another one, well site. Like, I don't think you have any wells on this property. So, you know, clean these out, and they're just text and symbols right now. But excuse me, the way we did that in the first place was here, and we went to annotate, and we said draw legend, and I can either have a new legend definition file or use an existing one. And the existing one, I have no idea. It says concrete monumental oak tree, pine tree. So this one had, well, take a look at this. All right, so if we had that, and if we said Um, all of these on. See, these are all the things that we picked up out of whatever drawing that we had. And then we
Yeah.
just threw things away and moved them around. Now, with that same file, we could also do this. Oh, let me see. Is this? Uh-oh, is that enter hedge width? I didn't finish it. This one can also go on. All right, so now that's with everything that's in the legend turned on. So, but the way we did it to begin with is that we said create legend, and we said new. Oops. New, and we'll put this one in here and we'll just call it, what's the property there? The name?
Catro. CATROW.
Okay, so we'll call it Catro LGD. Now, when you add, and you can add anything you want, a symbol or a line. So you can add just manually, or you can say add from drawing. So if we say add from drawing, and we just do this, okay? So that picked up continuous lines, dashed lines, and you see this include, yes, yes, yes. You can decide, well, okay, there's my overhead wires. Yeah, I want that one. Boundary, yes. Table text and solid, I don't need that. Boundary cut, none of those things do I need. I probably want to keep this phantom as the, so I'm gonna, as the property line. So let's see. SPT for, those are symbols. U640, I think that's just the whole table. I'll turn that off. Now here's that SPT 32.
Right.
And that was whatever.
It's going to be an unmarked point.
Unmarked point. Okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, so you can see what we're doing here. Now, there's line types. I've got two different ones. I'm going to go ahead and just remove that one. We'll call that do you want to call that OH wires or power or OV?
Yeah, just overhead wires is fine.
Just OH, or do we want to spell it out, or OVHD, or what?
No, just OH. They'll figure it out.
Okay, and
or they'll make me change it.
yeah, yeah, true. And all right, you said overhead. Did you say power or wires?
Wires is fine.
All right, so we'll leave that like that.
Because sometimes it's phone and sometimes it's electricity, and I don't like to have to be the one to decide that.
I'm with you there, my friend. All right, highway right of way, we don't need access easement. We don't need, because I don't need to include it in the legend because we've called it out. So that's what I want to make sure. So the wires setback limit, there we've got that we could use. Unless you need to dimension those.
I needed to mention how far off they are off of the property, but that might save me some from having to label each one as a setback. They may make me do that anyway, but let's try it.
All right. And then now what we would do is actually for this one, I'm going to turn that back on because I'm going to show that access easement and then we would expand it out like a, you know, a rectangle and we put that shading behind it so that that would make it perfectly clear. All right, so here's continuous on layer 0. I don't need that for anything. Oh, now SPT 20, which is on EUOH wires layer, that is
Yeah.
okay. All right, so then I would say draw. And I would put it, you know, somewhere. Oops, we'll have to move that in a minute. And I'll save and exit. Now, there is a very, very good argument that you could make for doing one of these giant ones like that one I showed you a minute ago that had all that big long list of things.
Yeah.
Because when you do this,
See, that's ended up missing some stuff that I need.
okay, it's which we can fix, but what happens like that existing one that we had, it had like every possibility of everything we need. Then we just go down the list and tick on and off. We don't delete the line. We just turn it on and off if we don't need it to plot.
Yeah.
Okay. But so now we've got, and I want to put the lines. Then move previous and now and finally. Okay. Now this grid text we won't need because you've already got this. That's where that came from.
Okay, see those, go back to that again for a minute. See those found number 4 rebar, set number 5 rebar, found 3/4. I need those.
Okay. Actually, the joiner is already there too. I'm a fool with him again. Yeah, there's your grid. Unmarked point, utility pole, boundary, and then boundary, but we've called them different things over here. We said existing boundary, and then we have 4 things for this boundary symbol. And these descriptions that you see here, Mike, are just initially, they are the layers on which it found those items. Now,
Yeah.
If we did want to keep it through this mechanism, do this, and we would see that we've got certain things that are on and off. Where were the boundaries? So this SPT 4W on boundary, yes, so that was that guy right there. Okay. Boundary calc, but these are all like, okay, SPT 5 and 7. That's probably two of those. Yeah, so you see that, pick those up.
Okay, so I can click on those and change the text.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could do that here. But now what we did, and I would go ahead and just build it here. And what we did when we put this together the last time was that we made this a viewport, another separate viewport. We looked at that area, but I think what I would do is just to keep it simple on this job, I would take no, you're gonna yeah, what we got to do is this. We do need another viewport, and I'm going to just copy this one so that I'm not changing the scale at all, but I do have to change its position. Oops. Now, because we're going to be using some of this stuff here too, what we'll do is, see, this is coming out of model space, okay? You're aware of that. This is actually in the model, and I've cut a hole into the model. I'm looking at it.
Right.
This stuff is just on the paper, but we did it by copying this stuff into paper space, and it handles making the scaling. It'll take care of the scaling for us automatically when we go back and forth, and it uses a command called change space.
Okay.
All right, so that's what we do now. I do want to do one other thing here is I wanted to take that. What's their stuff look like over here? We've got that line. Okay, so I wanted to take this, which is that, and that, and let's copy those two. And I didn't see that seam in there. That's what I thought. Okay. So here's what we'll do. And I want to okay, what else is here? Let's see. I need got we did need that. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any grid ticks showing? Yeah, we got those. But we don't have any intermediates in there, do we? So we don't need to confuse the picture. All right, so unmarked point, utility pole and boundary. Unmarked utility pole. Adjoining is already over there. All these others are over there too as well. Okay, so what we'll do then is here in our sort of like, you know, that's our source working stuff. So I want to do this command called, I'm going to double click inside this frame and I'm going to type CHSPACE for change space. And I'm going to move it instead of copy it. And the things I'm going to move are these. Select the target viewport, right there it is. And press enter to continue. Now, this is now a viewport that's just sort of out in empty space. Because, oh, I lied. What did it do wrong? CH space. Move. Select. Set the target viewport active and press enter. Okay, there we go. Now. Yeah, so that's fine. So now no longer need that. I've now I only used that to bring in that this legend stuff because it was generated out in model space. I only use that to bring this into paper space. And so what I would do here then is I've already got these four, well, I don't need well site, correct?
Right.
I do have existing boundary. I don't need this. I've got that. I don't need this. I do need that. And from here, I'm going to need utility pole, unmarked point, utility pole, and boundary. Now I need to close that gap up a little bit here. I'll move from the insertion point of here to the insertion point of here to close up that space. So I need all three of those points.
Actually, you don't need boundary. Because everything, the boundary's been identified as either a set rebar or.
Oh, yeah. That was, well, that's what that is. That came from the layer we just, but
Yeah.
since we already have that, we don't need that. So I don't need that. I don't need, well, I don't need either of these two. They're also.
Right.
So really, the only thing I really need.
Overhead wires.
Overhead wires, setback limit, and access easement.
Okay, the setback limit line has disappeared, hasn't it?
Yeah, but watch. See that right there?
Yeah.
It's there. It happens to be the exact same color as the background. So,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've driven myself crazy and lost hours and hours trying to find crap like that. All right, so now let's move this from here over to here. Put it right here for the moment. Where's my points? There we are. Just those two. Move from the insertion point of that to the insertion point of that, and then I'm going to move previous from the insertion point of that to the insertion point of that. And now I'll take all of these and move them down one line. Insertion point of that to the insertion point of that. Okay, so there's now all my points. I've got the existing boundary. I've only got the two other line types. So I'm going to move them from the insertion point of that to insertion point of that, and then move previous from the insertion point of that to from the insertion point of that to insertion point of that. Now we'll move previous insertion point of that to the insertion point of that. Now we'll take this and move it. Take that and that now. So I have to do it like this. And now move previous. Since I don't know because it's on a all right. So anything else?
No, I really do have to go now. I'm gonna be late.
Oh, don't be late. Let me get you out of here. All right, so I'll send you a link for the recording, but work on this other stuff. Let me know if you need anything. Otherwise, get this turned in and let them
Critique it.
okay.
Okay.
All right, sir. You stay healthy, stay well, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You bet. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.